This has been a really weird decade for Pixar. There have been 6 sequels including Incredibles 2, and it's about to be 7 with Toy Story 4 next year. If it isn't scrapped, that is. Apparently there have been some production issues. That leaves this decade with only 4 original movies: Brave, Inside Out, The Good Dinosaur, and Coco. And depending on who you ask, only 2 of those are of Pixar quality. However, that doesn't mean the sequels have been bad. It's just that a lot of people came to expect quality and originality after 7 original films in a row from the last decade, and people became concerned with how many sequels Pixar were making. Incredibles 2 is different. There are a lot of people that have been anticipating a sequel to Incredibles because they saw it as the perfect Pixar movie to make a sequel to. I mean, it's a superhero movie, and now is the prime time to make a sequel to it with all of the superhero hype going on. There are going to be some slight plot spoilers in this video, which mostly have been shown in trailers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, go ahead and do so before watching any further. If you're not bothered by plot spoilers or anything that was in the trailers, then please keep watching. The movie starts off immediately where the first one left off, and hasn't forgotten about the fact that supers are illegal. After a really creative and fun action sequence with the Underminer, Frozone is approached by a couple of people about making superheroes legal again. And then he tells Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl about it. Then, to make it short without giving away too much, Elastigirl starts working for them, basically trying to give supers better PR. Incredibles 2 does seem to be a lot like a flip-flop of the first film, where Mr. Incredible was going to an island to fight in isolation. Here, Elastigirl is going out in public to show that supers can still help people. There is also a villain in this film called the Screenslaver, which ended up being very predictable in my opinion, and definitely not comparable at all to Syndrome, who had a lot more personality, and also had a much more interesting plan.
I'll sell my invention so that everyone can be superheroes. Everyone can be super. And when everyone's super, no one will be.
But even though I thought the villain was predictable, I still think they did something pretty clever with it. One of the best things about this sequel is that we get to see the characters again and have them interact in different, more creative ways. Jack-Jack especially, with all of his crazy powers. A lot of the humor comes from those interactions, and also the dialogue, which feels very real. And of course, the action and the incredibly inventive ways that the powers are used in the film are really fun to watch. One thing that I'm not super in love with when it comes to this movie is the way that Brad Bird has this obsession with the late 50s/early 60s style. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just not really for me. It does make sense in context though. If you look closely enough, you start to realize that the movie is actually taking place in the early 60s. With the way the music sounds like a spy film, it makes a ton of sense. I think the movie is really great. It's probably the best Pixar sequel since Toy Story 3, depending on how you feel about that one. However...
Are we going to talk about it?
What?
The elephant in the room.
What elephant?
I personally have never resonated that much with The Incredibles. Shocking, I know, coming from someone that loves the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I have never been that in love with The Incredibles as much as everyone else is, especially compared to other Pixar films.
Hey, Paleo, it's Saber. Just want to stop you for a quick second. Yeah. You guys are too kind. Thank you. So you're talking about how this movie doesn't really have the same impact on you as it does to other people. Like, how this movie is, like, the favorite for so many Pixar fans. Well, I think I figured it out. You are an only child. So I can't expect the nuances of a family environment to really affect you. It doesn't really resonate with you because you never had a brother or a sister. It was just you, and your giant pile of toys on Christmas, all alone, with no one to play with. I mean, yeah, you got that Genesis you wanted, and perhaps an N64, but you never had a brother or a sister to spend time with. So all of these family jokes are kind of lost upon you. When Dash and Violet are going back and forth, it doesn't really click because you don't have a sibling. You have no love in your heart. You are a piece of shit and no one likes you. You are a son of a bitch, but not a brother or a sister of a bitch. I hate you. God fuck it, Paleo. I hate you. And if you give The Incredibles a low rating just because you don't have a proper family, I will kill you. Alright, I hope you all have a fun time with the review. Hey, people who are watching right now, you should go subscribe to my channel. Alright, see ya.
Thanks, Saber. Well, regardless of what it is, I still think both movies are great. I'm just not in love with them like a lot of people are. So if you have seen Incredibles 2, let me know what you thought of it, and how does it compare to the first film for you? Personally, I still think the first Incredibles is better, but Incredibles 2 is definitely a worthy sequel. And a big thanks to Saber for that cameo. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!
You sicken me, alright? You've got stupid glasses, you got these nerdy nose, you got no nose. At least my character has a nose. Wait, no he does. Does he have a nose? Do I have a nose? But you make me sick with your swooshy hair and you got no brother or sister. If you give this movie a low rating, I'm going to spit sand into your open wounds that I'll make with my claws on my fingertips. I farkin' hate you so much. How was that? Was that a good take?